Yamunatira Vanachari
Yamunatira Vanachari
Yamunatira Vanachari
Yamunatira Vanachari
Airandamandava Kunjabihari
Jayara Yama Daba Kunjabiyari
Jayo Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadara Sivasade Guru Bhakta Vinda Jaya
Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Sivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrindam
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Ayo Radha, Jamasunda, Radha Jamasunda, Jayo Radhe.
Jaya Radha Shama Sundar Radha Shama Sundar Jai Radhe
Ayo Radha, Jamasunda, Radha Jamasunda, Jayo Radhe.
Jaya Radha Shama Sundar Radha Shama Sundar Jai Radhe
Radhe Radhe Radhe Shama Sundar Radhe
Radhe Radhe Radhe Shama Sundar Radhe
Radhe Radhe Shama Sundar Radhe
Radhe Radhe Radhe Shama Sundar Radhe.
Radhe 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 Shama Sundar Radhe.
Radhe 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 Shama Sundar Radhe.
Haribo. Om
Hare Hare.
Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om
Om
Namo
Namo
Bhagavate
Bhagavate
Vasudevaya.
Vasudevaya.
Om Namo
Om
Om Namo
Bhagavate
Namo
Bhagavate
Vasudevaya.
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 Om
Om
Namo
Namo
Bhagavate
Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Vasudevaya.
Okay, Kavi, please adjust your camera.
Let's go, Maharaj.
Yeah, there's no light on your face and it was only
Very
the
good,
top
Maharaj.
of your head. Now it's pretty good.
Yes, go, Maharaj.
You know what? Ganga Prasad has those ring lights, like influencers, and he teaches them online. Okay, so we're coming to the end of this chapter. Then you can meet the four Kumaras.
We started chapter 22.
This is
And
chapter
we stopped
21, verse 48.
So we
at,
finished 21, Guru Maharaj.
we finished
Hmm?
it.
Yes, Guru Maharaj.
What?
We finished 21, Guru Maharaj.
Really?
Yes, Guru Maharaj.
I don't know. How much?
Then we asked them to summarize the other day.
Okay, then it's Prithu Maharaj meeting with the four Kumaras, right?
That's Guru
Yes.
Maharaj.
So it is very important. Someone asked, when you read this, you'll see, but sometime back, someone was asking why the four Kumaras didn't pay obeisances to Prithu Maharaj because he's an incarnation. But here he's acting like the disciple. He takes off his royal clothes, he's wearing deer skin, and he's a disciple of four Kumaras, so he offers obeisance to them. He's not presenting himself as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He's as a king, and he's teaching the citizens proper etiquette. Okay,
Yes,
Thank you
Guru
very much, Maharaj.
so who would like to read first?
Maharaj. Okay, Guru Maharaj. I can go first. If you permit me.
Joyiti Swarup, why don't you start?
Justice Swarup Prabhu, you want to start? Are you there, Justice Swarup Prabhu?
Hare Krishna, yes, Prabhuji, I'm here. Dhanot
Please start
Pranam Maharaj.
Yes.
Yes, I will read.
Verse 1.
Text,
Maitreya Vacha.
text 12. Text 12. We are supposed to read text 12. We finish 11.
If you like to read the Sanskrit, fine.
Prabhuji, are we reading 12?
12. We are reading 12. We are reading 12.
Swagatam Podvija Shrestha Yada Vratani Mumukshava
What verse are you on?
Charanti Shraddhaya
12.
Dhira.
12, Guru Maharaj.
4:22:12, Maharaj.
Oh, my bookmark is off. Okay, go ahead.
Charanti Shraddhaya Dhira Bala Eva Bruhanti Cha. Translation: Maharaj Prathu offered his welcome to the four Kumaras, addressing them as the best of Brahmanas. He welcomed them, saying, "From the beginning of your birth, you strictly observe the vow of celibacy, and although you are experiencing the path of liberation, you are keeping yourself just like a small children." Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The specific importance of the Kumaras is that they were brahmacharis, living the life of celibacy from birth. They kept themselves as a small children, about 4 or 5 years old, because by growing into youth, one's senses sometimes become disturbed and celibacy become difficult. The Kumaras therefore purposefully remain children because in the child's life, the sex by sex. This is the significance of the life of the Kumaras, and as such, Maharaj portrays them as the best of the Brahmanas. Not only were the born of the best Brahmana, Rama, but they are addressed here as a Dvij Shresht, best of the Brahmanas, on account of their being Vaishnavas also, as we have already explained, have their some disciplic session even to the date the sampradaya is being maintained and is known as Nimbarkaya. Out of four sampradaya of Vaishnava, the Nimbark sampradaya is one. Maharaj Padu specifically appreciates position of the Kumara because they maintain the brahmacharya vow from the very beginning of the birth. Maharaj Prathu, however, expressed his great appreciation of Vaishnavism by addressing the Kumara as a Vaishnava Shrestha. In other words, everyone should respect to the Vaishnava, considering his source was Vaishnava Jagdi. No one should consider Vaishnava in terms of birth. The Vaishnava is the best of the Brahmana. One should of respect to the Vaishnava, only a Brahmana, but as the best Brahmanas. Hare Krishna.
Any comment?
Yes, Maharaj. So this verse, uh, it is explained about the four Kumaras. They always maintain themselves. See, small children's the sense, the organ of the one agitating the sex life is 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 not there. So as they want to maintain the celibacy, they maintain themselves as small children. And Prabhupada explained here, we should show respect to the Vaishnava without considering so much. So we have to see whether someone of Vaishnava is born Brahmana family or not. No, we don't have to see whether he is born in the Brahman family, so he's then we give respect. No, uh, we have to Vaishnava is always the best of Brahmana. So we have to give that respect to Brahmana and all the so this is explained here in this text, Maharaj.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna.
So everybody knows the story of the Kumaras?
Yes, yes.
They were the first progeny of Brahma, and he was arranging their marriage because they were supposed to be Prajapatis. And they refused to get married. So he became very angry. Out of his anger came Rudra. But then by his intelligence, he calmed down, understanding that they weren't disobeying the father for sense gratification. It was for a higher purpose. They wanted to dedicate their life for a spiritual life. So and then they had such power that they actually stopped growing 5 years old. And they're still like that. They just travel around the universe, and they have their own sampradaya, the Kumar sampradaya, which is now called the which one is it? The
Nimbarka
Nimbarka sampradaya, which is quite big actually. Very good. And Lord Chaitanya took 2 things from each sampradaya. From them, it's worship of Radharani. Okay, next.
Who's reading the next text?
Yeah, please go ahead, Prabhu.
Okay. Kachina Kusalam Nata Indaya Tata Vedinam Yasana Vapa Itasmin Patitanam Swa Kalma B. Translation. Prithu Maharaj inquired from the sages about persons entangled in this dangerous material existence because of their previous actions. Could such persons, whose only aim is sense gratification, be blessed with any good fortune? Purport. Mahaprithu did not ask the Kumaras about their good fortune, for the Kumaras are always auspicious by dint of their life in celibacy. Since they are always engaged on the path of liberation, there is no question of ill fortune. In other words, Brahmanas and Vaishnavas who are strictly following the path of spiritual advancement are always fortunate. The question was asked by Prithu Maharaj for his own sake, since he was in the position of a Grastya and in charge of the royal authority. Kings are not only Grihasthas who are generally absorbed in sense gratification, but are sometimes employed to kill animals in hunting because they have to practice the killing art. Otherwise, it's very difficult for them to fight their enemies. Such things are not auspicious. 4 kinds of sinful activities: associating with women for illicit sex, eating meat, intoxication, and gambling are allowed for the Shastras. For political reasons, sometimes they have to take to these sinful activities. Shastras do not refrain from gambling. One vivid example is the Pandavas. When the Pandavas were challenged by the opposite party, Duryodhana, to gamble and risk their kingdom, they could not refrain. And by that gambling, they lost their kingdom, and their wife was insulted. Similarly, the Shastras cannot refrain from fighting if challenged by the opposite party. Therefore, Prithu Maharaj, taking consideration of all these facts, inquired whether there is any auspicious path. Grihastha life is inauspicious because Grihastha means consciousness for sense gratification. And as soon as there is sense gratification, one's position is always full of dangers. This material world is to be padam padam, yad padam damna te sam. Dangerous in every step. That's Bhagavatam 10:14-58. Everyone in this material world is struggling hard for sense gratification. Clearing all these points, Maharaj Prithu inquired from the 4 Kumaras about the fallen conditioned souls who are rotting in this material world due to their past bad and inauspicious activities. Is there any possibility for their auspicious spiritual life? In this verse, the word Indriya Atata Vedinam is very significant. It indicates persons whose only aim to satisfy the senses. They are also described as patitanam or falling. Only one who stops all activities for sense gratification is considered to be elevated. Another significant word is swa kamabihi. One becomes fallen by dint of his own past bad activities. Everyone is responsible for his fallen condition because of his own activities. When activities are changed to devotional service, one's auspicious life begins. Hare Krishna.
Well, that's a lot there. What do you get out from it?
The deduction is that there is a lot of, for instance, they are talking about Grihastha life, which entails sense gratification. And for this purpose, this condition makes one to uh, uh, not to be very auspicious. So they are also glorifying the lifestyle of the Kumaras, being a celibacy. And because of that, anybody on that path who is a celibate, that there is no question of ill fortune. So the life of celibacy is extolled here and encouraged by all. And it was also explained that being a king, he has to live a life of a grihastha. So, and Marapritu, being a king, is curious. He wants to know the situation of those who are grihastha, if and how they can purify their life for to become officials. Hare Krishna.
Right. Important point is everyone is responsible for his fallen condition because of his own activities. Nowadays, it's very common to blame all our trouble on someone else, another country or another person or another group of people, and not take responsibility. And in that consciousness, we can never get out of the difficulties. And the governments use that, always saying we have enemy, we have to build up our military, we have to be ready to fight. And that way they distract people from all the internal problems in their country. To be watching out for the enemy. When I was a kid, it was always, the Russians are coming, the Russians could be attacking any minute. We had to build bomb shelters and have evacuation routes out of the city and all kinds of crazy stuff. The Russians are coming, the Russians are coming. The Russians were saying the same thing. The capitalists are coming. Propaganda we got in America was that communism is all bad. And in communist country, they got how capitalism is so bad. There's so many homeless people and so much problems. But look within, the good and the bad. All right. Thank you.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Please accept my respectful obeisances of Lord Prabhupada. Maharaj, I have a question. Hare Krishna, can you hear me?
We are hearing you. Go ahead with your question.
My question is that in some places, Srila Prabhupada has mentioned that the Grihastha ashram is a very suitable ashram for spiritual growth. It's most convenient for practicing spiritual life. In this context, here, Prabhupada particularly said in the purport that Grihastha life is very highly discouraged. So I'm wondering, how do we balance the two statements? Am I audible?
Yeah, we are hearing you, Pablo.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, Prabhupada has said in many places that Grihastha life is very good ashram to practice spiritual life, the most convenient because it's a steady ashram. But in this purport, Srila Prabhupada said Grihastha life is inauspicious. So my question is, how do we reconcile?
And which purport is it?
Madhavan Prabhu. In this purport, Srila Prabhupada said Grihastha life is inauspicious. But in other places also, we have seen that Srila Prabhupada always glorified the Grihastha ashram, saying that the Grihastha ashram is the most convenient ashram to practice spiritual life because there is steadiness. So I'm trying to understand.
The whole sentence says Grihastha life is inauspicious because Grihastha life means consciousness for sense gratification. And as soon as there is sense gratification, one's position is always full of dangers. But it's also a protection, everything has two sides at least. So real Grihastha is no sense gratification. Only working is ashram. So Grihastha could mean just simply married life. But generally when Prabhupada's using it, he's using the opposite of Grihameti. Griha means house, and Grihameti, meti means death, actually. Living in the house simply for sense gratification is very bad, but Grihastha, generally when Prabhupada uses it, he means, it's an ashram for practicing spiritual life. But still, there's a license for sense gratification, so one should not become attached, even if he's living in it, not thinking it's the all in all. But these words, they have different meanings sometimes. Griha means house, and Grihastha just means household life. But the higher meaning of Grihastha is controlled, sense-controlled household life. But for many, they're not really sinful exactly, but they're sense gratifier. Even they may be practicing some little Krishna consciousness, but they're not fixed on the goal of, giving up everything for Krishna. So he says in many places, he says like, for Lord Shiva, Brahma, household life may not, distract them, but generally it may distract someone from, from Krishna, but it can also be very helpful. For most people, it's necessary and very helpful to keep the senses under control, to have family, and then if a person is a good person, then he feels responsible to work and support the family, and he behaves himself. If a person is a rascal, then he thinks, oh, this family is a burden, it's troublesome, I'll just run away. And some think I'll renounce everything, and some just think I'll find another family that doesn't be so demanding. Many of our acharyas are grihastas, right?
Totally.
Thank you, Maharaj.
You know, many
Hare
of
Krishna.
Bhakti Vinod was a grihasta, perfect example. Had many children, engaged them all in Krishna's service. Okay, good question. Think about it.
Yeah.
Give a seminar about it. Because generally, everyone will be a householder. So they should know how to be a sense-controlled householder. Then it's very auspicious. It's also very powerful preaching. Husband and wife together with happy children. All right.
Yes, Maharaj.
Now there's a verse, famous verse quoted in the purport, 10:14:58. Samastrita ye parapalava palabam mahatpadam punya visho vimarari bhavam bhuvatsa padam param padam yat vipadam natesham. Very often quoted. For those who have accepted the boat of the lotus feet of his Lord, who is the shelter of the cosmic manifestation and is famous as Murari, the enemy of the Mura demon. The ocean and material world is like the water contained in a calf's hoofprint. Their goal is Param Padam, Vaikuntha, the place where there's no danger. No, not the place where there's danger at every step. Vipadam is the material amazing, danger at every step. Padam Padam Vipadam. Vaikuntha is Padam Padam, the supreme abode. Devotees in Scotland, they were playing rock and roll music. So they had one song, there's danger at every step. There's danger at every step. It's very powerful. I'm just quoting Bhagavatam. That verse is, quoted throughout Prabhupada's teachings so many times. It's worth studying. All right. Back to text 14.
Hare Krishna. Maharaj,
Okay.
have a comment?
Yeah, I'll read that one. You have a question,
Have a-
Madhvan Prabhu?
Yes, I have a comment, a short comment. Grihastha life, as I see it, it's very turbulent life. It's turbulent. Whereas life of celibacy is more peaceful and, of course, will be more conducive for spiritual advancement. And I think that's why it's necessary that one should graduate from Grihastha life, go to Vanaprastha, where you can continue with celibacy and be more focused on one's spiritual advancement. But Grihastha life is also very important to produce Krishna conscious children. But I believe one must graduate from it for spiritual advancement. And that's the advantage the four Kumaras have when they maintain their celibacy and their youth. That's my comment, Maharaj. I don't know if it's making any sense.
Okay, the
Maharaj.
Grihastha life is all supposed to be celibate. Because having sex under, Krishna says, which is not contrary to religious principle,
Contrary.
just for having children, then it's not sense. Then it's can be peaceful. Anyway, we should understand that. Celibate
Thank you, Maharaj.
brahmacharya, it means Brahman. It's not just an ashram or a color of cloth or something. It means being absorbed in Brahman. And that's for every ashram. Okay, next.
Okay, I'll take the next one. Bhavastu kusala prashna atma rameshu nesyate kushala kushala yatra nasanti mati vritaya. Prithvi Maharaj continued, my dear sirs, there is no need to ask about your good and bad fortune because you are always absorbed in spiritual bliss. The mental concussion of the auspicious and inauspicious does not exist in you. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita Antya Lila, chapter 4, text number 176, it is said, Dvaita Bhadra Bhadra Jnana Sabaha Mano Dharmaha. Sorry, I didn't get it meter correctly. Advaite Bhadra Bhadra Jana Sabha Mano Dharman E Bala E Bada E Sabha Brahma. Sorry, I'm not getting it meter correctly, but
No, it's okay,
the translation goes continue. In this in this material world, the auspicious and inauspicious are simply mental concussions because such things exist only due to excuse me, association with the material world. This is called illusion or Atma Maya. We think ourselves created by material nature exactly as we think ourselves experiencing so many things in a dream. The spirit soul, however, is always transcendental. There is no question of becoming materially covered. This covering is simply something like a hallucination or a dream. In the Bhagavad Gita 262, it is also said, Sangat Sanjayate Karma. Simply by association, we create artificial material necessity. Dhyayato Visayam Pumsam Sangas Teshu Ha Jayate. When we forget our real constitutional position and wish to enjoy the material resources, our material desires manifest and we associate with varieties of material enjoyment. As soon as the concussions of material enjoyment are there, because of our association, we create a sort of lust or eagerness to enjoy them. And when that false enjoyment does not actually make us happy, we create another illusion known as anger. And by the manifestation of anger, the illusion becomes stronger. When we are illusioned in this way, forgetfulness of our relationship with Krishna follows. And thus, by losing Krishna consciousness, our real intelligence is defeated. In this way, we become entangled in this material world. In the Bhagavad Gita 263, it is said, Krodha bhavati samoha samoha smriti vibrahma smriti brahma sad buddhi naso buddhi nasad pranasyati. By material association, we lose our spiritual consciousness. Consequently, there is the question of the auspicious and inauspicious. But those who are Atmarama or self-realized have transcended such questions. The Atmarams or self-realized persons gradually making further progress in spiritual bliss come to the platform of association with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That is the perfection of life. In the beginning, the Kumaras were self-realized, impersonalists, but gradually they became attracted to the personal pastimes of the Supreme Lord. The conclusion is that for those who are always engaged in the devotional service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the dualities of the auspicious and inauspicious does not arise. Prithvi Maharaj is therefore asking about auspiciousness, not for the sake of the Kumaras, but for his own sake. Hare Krishna.
Right.
I'm not hearing Maharaj. I don't know whether I'm the only one.
Any comment or explanation?
Okay. This verse is actually glorifying the transcendentalists, especially the Atmaramas. Their transcendental position is glorified in this text. But not just the transcendentalists. In the conclusion of the purport, Srila Prabhupada emphasized that the Kumaras were transcendentalists from the beginning, but not just because in Prithu is not just glorifying their being a transcendentalist, but because they are bhaktas, because they became attracted along the line to the personal feature of the Supreme Personality of God, so they are bhaktas. So the glories of bhakti ultimately is being glorified here. And it neutralizes auspicious or inauspiciousness. As long as one is under the influence of the three modes, even when it is goodness, there is tendencies for inauspiciousness. But when one attains the platform of a bhakta, a devotee, or one who engages in the devotion to the Supreme Personality of God, inauspiciousness and auspiciousness are completely neutralized. One is situated in a proper state of consciousness. And that is what Prabhupada is trying to explain here. And Prabhupada explained in the beginning of the purport how this attachment to auspicious and inauspiciousness are all as a result of the contact of the living entity with the material modes, which is arising due to contact of the senses. And when the senses are in contact with material nature, desiring for pleasure, desiring to become happy, they become frustrated because the nature of the consciousness of the self is to enjoy bliss on the different platform or transcendental platform. And when the living entity engages the senses like this by association with material energy or material consciousness, and his desires are unfulfilled, it loses himself because he falls into delusion. And that delusion manifests in the form of anger. And thus anger, when it becomes even stronger, it becomes completely forgetfulness of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So therefore, Prabhupada quoted the 263, stating that material association is a danger to the soul, one who is endeavoring on the path of spiritual life, because by material association, in this level of consciousness, one loses his own spiritual self. So ultimately, the text here is glorifying the position of bhakti, one who is engaged in devotion and service, how is completely free from auspicious and inauspiciousness, and is described as the most auspicious part. And the impersonalists cannot experience this because ultimately they still have to come to bhakti. That's my understanding at this point.
Yeah, that's quite deep. There's an interesting little psychological thing there about anger. We want material enjoyment, and we create a lust or eagerness, and when we can't get it, it doesn't make us happy, then we get another illusion of anger. And by that illusion of anger, illusion becomes stronger. It's just quoting chapter 2, forgetfulness of our relationship with Krishna follows, and then losing Krishna consciousness, our intelligence is defeated, and we become entangled in this material world. This is very simple. I just saw a little clip somebody made. The little boy speaking, and he said, I think we're doing it wrong. We have anger control. That's the wrong thing. He said, we should have stupidity control, because that's the problem. People do stupid things, or they say stupid things, and then we get angry. So the real thing should be stupidity control. According to Bhagavad Gita, that's true. It should be lust control. Anger control, if you keep the lust, then that anger, it's just like holding your breath, Eventually it's going to come out. Try to control it by pushing it under the rug or hiding it or forgetting about it, but it bubbles up again and again and again. But if we control the lust, then anger won't manifest. Very important. In the beginning, curb this all-devouring, sinful enemy of mankind, lust. It's lust only, Arjuna. All right, very good. So there's a lot, the 4 Kumaras are Mahajanas, so their teachings are very, very, very deep. And what Lord Chaitanya took from the 4 Kumaras, from their sampradaya, is worshipping Radharani and following the gopis. They're not just intellectuals. Okay, next.
Maharaj, please, I want to beg for your blessings and permission to leave.
All right. You have some preaching engagement, probably. You're usually busy with that.
Presenting on a platform, so I'll be leaving now. I'll join tomorrow morning.
Good. All right. Thank
Hare
you.
Krishna.
Everybody, please. Hare Krishna for Salika Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Okay. Number 15. Kavi, who's up next?
Yes, Guru Maharaj. Ramakrishna Prabhu. Rasana Prabhu, please go ahead. Ramakrishna Prabhu, we're not hearing you.
I'm not well. I'm feeling dizzy, so let's just be here.
Okay, Prabhu. Come on, Lash Prabhu, please go ahead.
What text, please?
Text 15.
What text?
Text 15.
Okay. I am completely assured that personalities like you are the only friends for persons who are blazing in the fire of material existence. I therefore ask you how, in this material world, we can very soon achieve the ultimate goal of life. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. When saintly persons go from door to door to see those who are too much materially engaged, it is to be understood that they do not go to ask anything for their personal benefit. It is a fact that saintly persons go to materialists just to give real information of the auspicious. Maharaj Prithu was assured of this fact. Therefore, instead of wasting time by asking the Kumaras about their welfare, he preferred to inquire from them whether he could soon be relieved from the dangerous position of materialistic existence. This was not, however, a question personally for Prithu Maharaj. It was raised to teach the common man that whenever one meets a great saintly person, One should immediately surrender unto him and inquire about relief from the material pains of existence. Therefore, Srila Narottam Das Thakur says, Samsara Vaishnale Devani Si Hiya Jwale Judaitana Kaino Upaya. We are suffering, we are always suffering from material pangs, and our hearts are burning, but we cannot find any way out of it. The materialistic person can also be called a tapasvi, which means someone who is always suffering from material pains. One can get rid of all these material pains only when he takes shelter of the chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra. This is also explained by Narottam Das Thakur, Golokera Primadan Harinama Sankirtanam, Pratinam Jamila Kine Taya. Narottam Das Thakur regretted that he did not pursue his attraction for the transcendental vibration of the Hare Krishna mantra. The conclusion is that all persons in this material world are suffering from material pains. And if one wants to get rid of them, he must associate with certain persons, pure devotees of the Lord, and chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Hare
Hare,
Hare
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Rama,
Hare
Rama,
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Rama
Rama.
Rama, Hare Hare.
That is the only auspicious way for materialistic persons. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, but let us hear your perspective of that verse, your understanding.
The verse highlights the importance of meeting a saintly person. And if one is gracious and merciful enough to meet a saintly person, that is also termed positive association. And the verse clearly details what one should do upon meeting a saintly person. One should be able to make inquiry, positive inquiry, about how one can be relieved from the material pains. One shouldn't make inquiries that are not going to be helpful to someone. So Prithu Maharaj made inquiries of how he can be relieved from the material pangs. So that is what Srila Prabhupada explained, that when meeting a certain person, we should be able to ask how we can be relieved from the pangs of the material miseries, which is very difficult to overcome unless one is blessed by the association of a certain person. So also Prabhupada explained that the material world is coated with all types of miseries, and then the only way one can be relieved is when one meets a saintly person, and the saintly person initiates one into the chanting of the holy name, the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Hare Krishna.
Very good. Simple for the simple. Golokara Prema Dana Hari Nam Sankirtana. It's not a product of this earth. It's not a product of the alphabet. It's just alphabetic letters, but it's coming from Goloka. Very important. So when we're chanting, there's an invisible thread connecting us to Goloka and pulling us closer to Goloka. Try to remember that when you're chanting.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Pray that I
Did
can
I-
remember. I can say it, but when I'm chanting, too many other things come. Okay. So a grihastha can also be called a tapasvi because everybody's struggling hard to live in this world. They're doing tapasya, working so hard to maintain the body. Even a madman, they have to run all over the place and look for food and beg. Even the richest man, always worried somebody in their company is going to cheat them. Some competitor is going to defeat them and come out with a better product. So they're never peaceful either. Only one who can be peaceful really is someone who understands everything belongs to Krishna. We just try to use it for Krishna. If he gives us much or gives us little, we just use it for him. No anxiety. All right. Thank you. Anyone else?
Yes, Maharaj. I will read 16.
Please.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead is always anxious to elevate the living entity who are in his part and parcels. And for their special benefit, the Lord travels all over the world in the form of self-realized persons like you. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. There are different kinds of transcendentalists, namely the Jnanis or impersonalists, the mystic yogis, of course, all the devotees of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Kumaras, however, were both yogis and Jnanis, and finally Bhakta later on. In the beginning, they were impersonalists, but later they developed devotional activities. Therefore, they are the best of the transcendentalists. The devotees are representatives of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and to elevate the conditioned souls to the original consciousness. They travel all over the universe to enlighten the conditioned soul about the Krishna consciousness. The best devotees are Atmavat, or those who have fully realized the Supreme Soul. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, as Paramatma, is sitting within everyone's heart, trying to elevate everyone to the platform of Krishna consciousness. Therefore, it's called Atma Bhavana. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is always trying to give the individual soul the intelligence to understand about himself. He's always with the individual as a friend sitting by the side of a friend, and he gives facility to all the living entity according to their desires. The word Atma Bhatam is significant in this verse. There are three kinds of devotees, namely Kanishta Adhikari, Madhyama Adhikari, and Uttama Adhikari. The neophyte, the preacher, and the Mahabhagavat, or the highly advanced devotee. The highly advanced devotee is one who knows the conclusion of the Vedas in full knowledge. Thus, he becomes a devotee. Indeed, not only he is convinced himself, but he can convince others on the strength of the Vedic evidence. The advanced devotee can also see all other living entities as part and parcels of the Supreme Lord without discrimination. The Madhyama Adhikari preacher is also well versed in the Shastra and can convince others also, but he discriminates between the favorable and unfavorable. In other words, the Madhyama Adhikari does not care for the demonic living entities. And the neophyte Kanishta Adhikari does not know much about Shastra, but has full faith in the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And the Kumaras, however, were Mahabhagavats because after scrutinizingly studying the absolute truth, they became devotees. In other words, they were in full knowledge of the Vedic conclusion. In the Bhagavad Gita, it is confirmed by the Lord that there are many devotees, but that a devotee who is fully conversant in the Vedic conclusion is very dear to him. Everyone is trying to elevate himself to the highest position according to his mentality. The Karmis who have a bodily concept of life try to enjoy sense gratification to the utmost. The Jnani's idea of the highest position is merging into the effulgence of the Lord. But the devotee highest position is the preaching of all over the world and the glories of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, the devotee are actually the representative of the Supreme Lord. And as such, they travel all over the world directly as Narayan, because they carry Narayan within their heart and preach his glories. The representative of Narayan is as good as Narayan, but is not to conclude like the Mayavadis that he has become Narayan. Generally, a Sannyasi is addressed as Narayana by the Mayavadis. The idea is that simply by taking sannyasa, one becomes equal to Narayan or becomes Narayan himself. The Vaishnava conclusion is different, as stated by Vishwanatha Chakravarti Thakur. Shakshadari Twena Samasta Shastre Uktastatava Vyatayeva Sadvi Kintu Prabhuya Priya Tasya Vande Guru Shri Sharanaravinda. According to the Vaishnava philosophy, a devotee is as good as Narayan, not by becoming Narayan, but by becoming the most confidential servant of Narayan. Such great personality act as spiritual master for the benefit of people in general. And as such, a spiritual master who is preaching the glories of Narayan should be accepted as Narayan and be given respect, be given giving all respect due him. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna Maharaj. So this is a very wonderful verse talking about the glories of devotees, preaching the Krishna consciousness all over the world.
Yes.
Just like, yeah, yes, Guru Maharaj.
And since it says that Krishna travels in the form of devotees, that are
Yes, Guru Maharaj.
going door to door all over, whether it's all over Lagos or all over Port Harcourt or all over Accra or all over Media Village, it's the same. The world, there's many different versions of the world. Someone like Narada Muni can be traveling all over the universe. Most of us, I don't think, can do that. But we can travel all over our own neighborhood.
Yes, Guru Maharaj.
Millions of people everywhere, And that's how Krishna does it. He doesn't come himself very often in his form of Krishna, but in the form of the devotees. And nowadays, look, it's become very simple. We just take the books, give people the mantra, give people the books. We don't have to be big scholars or, orators, or we don't have to be like Martin Luther King or something. We just have to be able to say, please, I read this book. Please chant this name of God. Please chant some name of God. If you're a Christian, please study your Bible seriously and apply it in your life. Right? You're a Muslim.
Yes, Guru Maharaj.
We don't try to say give it up. It's all bogus. I've seen neophyte devotees talk like that. No. Study your own scripture and find out. But I think all of us, I know myself, I read the Bible quite a bit at one point in my life. And I had questions, but nobody could ever answer them. So I just kind of dropped it. But when I read Bhagavad Gita, then it all came clear. I could understand what the Bible was saying. Otherwise, because people are misrepresenting it so much, can't even understand it. But study it, try to apply it in your life. Be serious. If you become a very good Christian, you'll be very happy. Okay, anyone else?
Yes, Guru Maharaj. Actually, it is very special that the preachers are being glorified. Great devotee Mahabhagavat who are traveling all over the universe trying to liberate. Because even the gopis in the Bhagavatam also glorify the preacher. Tavakatamrikam, Taptajivanam, Kavibidikam, Kalmashaparam. So even in the Srimad Bhagavatam, the gopis, they are glorifying those who are spreading the Krishna consciousness all over the universe. So it shows that is why Srila Prabhupada was so much absorbed in preaching even to the end. Because for one who is preaching the Krishna consciousness, they are the topmost devotees. As confirmed by the gopis are supposed to be the topmost devotees. They are the topmost devotee of Krishna, but the gopis are glorifying the preacher of Krishna consciousness. It shows the greatness. Even Krishna mentioned in Bhagavad Gita himself toward the end that whoever is spreading this message to my devotee is very dear to me. So it shows the importance of preaching Krishna consciousness, Guru Maharaj. Hare Krishna. Anybody want to say something else in addition?
Whatever it is.
Yes, please go ahead, Prabhu. Go ahead,
No.
Prabhu.
Too much. I took some, very little.
Kamalash Prabhu, please go ahead.
If there's soup, it's okay.
Kamalash Prabhu, please go ahead. Kamalash Prabhu, are you hearing? Kamalash Prabhu, can you hear me?
Yeah, you said what?
Go ahead, Prabhu. You said you want to say something. I said, go ahead, Prabhu.
No, I was asking if I could read again.
Okay,
Yes.
please go ahead and read, Babu. Feel free. You are very humble. Please read, Babu.
The great sage material continued. Thoughts, Sanat Kumara, the best of the celibates, after hearing the speech of Prithu Maharaj, which was meaningful, appropriate, full of precise words, and very sweet to hear, smiled with full satisfaction and began to speak as follows. Purport. Prithu Maharaj's talks before the Kumaras were very laudable because of so many qualifications. A speech should be composed of selected words, very sweet to hear and appropriate to the situation. Such speech is called meaningful. All these good qualifications are present in Prithu Maharaj's speech because he is a perfect devotee. It is said, Yasyasti Bhakti Bhagavati Akinchana Savaguna Satra Shamashate Sura. For one who has unflinching devotional faith in the Supreme Personality of Godhead and is engaged in his service, all good qualities become manifest in his person. Thus, the Kumaras were very much pleased, and Sanat Kumara began to speak as follows.
Right. Okay. Now we get the nectar of the four Kumaras. I'm going to just read this verse 5:18-12. It's also another one that's very often mentioned.
Yes, Kumaraj.
Prayers offered by the residents of Jambudweep. Yasyasti Bhaktir Bhagavat Yakinchana Sarvarganas Tatra Samasate Suraha Arabha Bhaktasya Kato Mahadguna Manoratenasati Dabato Bahi. That's a very important line. Manoratena, by mental speculation, asati, in the material world. All the demigods and their exalted qualities, such as religion, knowledge, and renunciation, become manifest in the body of one who has developed unalloyed devotion to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vasudeva. On the other hand, a person devoid of devotional service and engaged in material activity has no good qualities, even if he is adept at the practice of maintaining his family and relatives. He must be driven by his own mental speculations and must engage in the service of the Lord's external energy. How can there be any good qualities in such a man? Pretty far out, huh? Purportsky, this is by Prabhupada. As explained in the next verse, Krishna is the original source of the living entities. This is confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita. Laimai Vamso Jiva Loke, Jiva Bhuta Sanatana, Manaksastani Indriyani, Prakriti Karshati. The living entities in this material world are my eternal fragmental parts. Due to conditioned life, they are struggling very hard with the six senses, which include the mind. All living entities are part and parcel of Krishna, and therefore, when they revive their original Krishna consciousness, they possess all the good qualities of Krishna in small quantity. When one engages himself in the 9 processes of devotional service, Shravanam Kirtanam, Vishnu Smananam, Pada Sevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyan, Sakyam, Atmane Vedanam, one's heart becomes purified and he immediately understands his relationship with Krishna. He then revives his original quality of Krishna consciousness. In the Adi Leela of Chaitanya Charitamrita, chapter 8, there is a description of some of the qualities of the devotees. For example, Sri Pandit Haridas is described as being very well behaved, tolerant, peaceful, magnanimous, and grave. In addition, he spoke very sweetly. His endeavors were very pleasing, and he was always patient in respect. He respected everyone. He always worked for everyone's benefit. His mind was free of duplicity, and he was completely devoid of all malicious activities. These are all originally qualities of Krishna. And when one becomes a devotee, they automatically become manifested. Sri Krishnadas Kaviraj the author of Chaitanya Charitamrita, says that all good qualities become manifested in the body of a Vaishnava, and that only by the presence of these good qualities can one distinguish a Vaishnava from the non-Vaishnava. Now we get the 26 qualities of a devotee. He's very kind to everyone. We can try to look at ourselves and see how we rank here. He does not make anyone his enemy. That's our preaching, book distribution, asking people to chant. He's truthful. He's equal to everyone. Everyone should chant Hare Krishna. No one can find fault in him. He is magnanimous. He is mild. He's always clean. No one can find fault. One devotee in Bombay who was a very rich businessman, PhD, and when he was following one big Mayavadi, and he stated when he met Prabhupada, he tried and tried to find fault with him. Because he said that's what we do, that's what businessmen do. We try to find fault with our competitors, with the people we're negotiating with. He said, but no matter how I tried, he couldn't find fault with Prabhupada. He finally surrendered and did so much service. He's magnanimous, mild, clean, without possessions. He works for everyone's benefit. He's very peaceful. He's always surrendered to Krishna. He has no material desire. Hare Krishna. He's very meek. He is steady. He controls his senses. Hare Krishna. You can listen. He does not eat more than required. He is not influenced by the Lord's illusory energy. He offers respect to everyone. He does not desire any respect for himself. He is very grave. He is merciful. He is friendly. He is poetic. He is expert. And he is silent. If we examine Srila Prabhupada's life, we'll see all these things are glowing, refulgent. All right? So we'll go back to the...
Yes, Gumaraj, I have a comment, Gumaraj.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Go for it.
Yes, Gumaraj, once before, when I read this verse, and in the verse mentioned that those who are not devotee, they don't have any good quality at all because they are riding on the mental concussion. I could not understand it until one day I listened to a lecture by one Mataji where she was explaining, and she said that she's a very famous teacher in ISKCON also. So she was explaining how those who are materialistic, who are not devotee, have no good quality.
Wow.
Those who are not devotee has no good quality because it's just like a thief. For example, he gave example that a thief, they go and steal things. After stealing other people's property, and they now come together. They are a group of thieves, so they come together and say,
Thank you very
see,
much.
we have to be very,
Please
we have
read
to be
Bhagavad
honest.
Gita daily.
We have to be honest. We have to be trustworthy in sharing this property. So, thieves who have gone to steal, they have stolen things, and now they are talking about good quality, about being honest, straightforward in sharing those things. So, what kind of good quality is that in thieves? So that makes a lot of sense to me because all of us in this material world, if we don't have the proper understanding or consciousness that Krishna is the owner of everything, no matter whatever good quality we display, it's like a thief who's talking about honesty and straightforward. Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj.
Yeah, let's divide it honestly.
Yes, yes, Guru Maharaj.
But that's how we are,
Yeah.
Hare
Those good
Krishna.
qualities, they're materially good qualities. And it can help people to maybe to take to Krishna consciousness when they contact it.
Yes.
If someone is honest and, trustworthy and all that, that's very good and kind, But if they're doing it just for their sense gratification, but at least they can get a maybe, when they hear about Krishna, they'll be able to take it. We encourage all these good qualities. Because if a devotee is also a devotee and he's offering everything to Krishna as far as rituals and everything, but he's not honest, he's not kind, he's not respectful to, because the devotee is supposed to be not only respectful to his guru or to sannyasis, but to every living entity. Then these good qualities, but hopefully, if he's always chanting, then he'll get purified. So we encourage everybody to just chant, chant, chant. We don't put that much stress on other things, but by example, we should be teaching kindness and compassion and tolerance and patience.
I have a question, Guru Maharaj.
Yeah.
Yes, Guru Maharaj. Guru Maharaj, I have a question because this has been some, kind of a doubt in my mind, because I've seen in some part of the scripture, this good quality are encouraged. That okay, we must cultivate. Actually, the word used is cultivate. Cultivate means when we use the example of cultivating the feed. So it means sometimes we say we have to cultivate this good quality. But in other time also it's mentioned that by engaging in devotional service, you develop this quality. And we have seen many times that some devotees or many of us who have been trying to engage in devotional service for many years, we are not automatically developing the good qualities, maybe because we are not engaging in pure unalloyed devotional service. So how will you advise us? Should we cultivate these qualities separately because they are very favorable for devotional service, or we should just continue engaging in devotional service without bothering in cultivating them, Guru Maharaj?
It depends on attitude. Attitude is everything. So if we have the attitude that it's okay that I'm not nice, it's okay that I insult my wife, it's okay that I fight with devotees because I'm a devotee and I'm I'm above all those things. That's completely wrong understanding, and you're not really a devotee. But we shouldn't forget about the devotional service to try to develop those qualities. But we have to think about it. Because a devotee is kind, a devotee is all these things. So by association, we can see how devotees act, how Prabhupada act. And we need to cultivate them. We have to work on, just like you practice mridanga.
That's good, Maharaj.
You can play, anybody can just pick it up, the kids pick it up and they keep the beat pretty good, But then if you want to really play it, you get practice. And whatever we're doing, japa, we have to be trying to perfect. Preaching, we have to be kind, we have to be nice to people. So that mode of passion can take over and we think, I'm a devotee, I can just trample over everybody and it doesn't matter if I exhibit all these other qualities, because I read somewhere that they don't have any meaning, but they do have meaning, because a devotee, but they will develop if we're practicing devotional service. But devotional service includes acting nice, being tolerant, being patient. That's part of devotional service. Not just waving sticks around on the altar or learning a million mridanga beats or something. Then we have to play the mridanga for Krishna's pleasure and chant Hare Krishna while we play it, right?
Yes, Guru Maharaj. Yeah. Guru Maharaj, also in chapter 12, there's chapter 12, there's maybe 13 to 20 of Bhagavad Gita. Krishna mentioned how this quality endear one to him. Good qualities.
Yeah, so we should practice. We should be aware. Be aware when we act off this standard, and pray to Krishna, please get me back on track. Like I was just thinking about some incident. One devotee I just found out, and he was doing something that I did not want him to do. It was kind of like taking it without consulting me, trying to do some major thing. I got so angry, and I was, telling him, don't do it, And he was saying, no, Maharaj, you don't understand. This is good. I know what I'm doing. And I just now, this is years later, I realized I should have kept a cool head and told the devotees who were taking him to the place he was going not to go, not to take him. But I didn't even think of that because I lost it, the anger. Only just yesterday I realized there's something on. You have to keep a cool head. I thought I'll be the controller, and I'm telling you, don't do it. But he was thinking he's the controller, and I was in no physical space to be able to stop him. But I could have tried to tell the other devotees, don't go. And he couldn't have gone without them because he didn't know where to go. They might have disobeyed me also, but I don't know. Because in Japanese, when somebody's very heavy and intimidating, they're afraid to go against them. They don't want to have the war, All right. So anyway, the good qualities, we need to work at it. But we have to understand also that without doing devotional service, we're not going to develop it. Okay, next.
Yogeshwar Babu, you want to read again?
Yes.
Yes, Prabhuji, I will read.
18.
Please.
18, yes. Sanat Kumar said, my dear King Prithu, I am very nicely questioned by you. Such questions are beneficial for all living entities, especially because they are raised by you. You are always thinking of good of others. Although you know everything, you ask such question because that is the behavior of saintly person. Such intelligence is befitting your position. Purport. Maharaj Prathu was well conversant in transcendental science, yet he presented himself before the Kumaras as one ignorant of it. The idea is that even if person is very exalted and knows everything before he is superior, he should present question. For instance, although Arjun knew all the transcendental science, he questioned Krishna as he as if he did not know. Similarly, Prithu Maharaj knew everything, but he presented himself before the Kumaras as he did not know anything. The idea is that questions by exalted person put before the Supreme Personality of Godhead or his devotee are meant for the benefit of a general people. Therefore, sometimes great personalities put themselves in that position and inquire from the higher authority because they are always thinking of the benefit of others.
Right.
Hare Krishna.
I have a question. Who knows? In the Bhagavatam, where we find this same statement that the Kumaras just said, I've been nicely questioned by you. Such questions are beneficial because they're, where is that? It's in the first canto. Who knows? Kavi Pundit?
Tomorrow morning,
Guru Maharaj.
Maharaj, isn't questions by Parikshit Maharaj?
if you don't mind. What do you think?
Guru Maharaj, you said, sorry. Oh,
Hello?
No, I think it's the sages at
Hello?
Naimisharanya. They asked Sutta Goswami, and
yes,
he
Guru Maharaj.
said, it's very good questions. These
Yes,
questions
Guru
are
Maharaj.
good, right?
Yes, yes, Guru
That's
Maharaj.
where it is?
Yeah, it's in Canto 1, Guru Maharaj. Canto 1, verse, is it 1? Yeah, I can check it. Where he was glorifying the sage's question, Guru Maharaj, yes.
Anyway, the more we read Bhagavatam, the more we see the same things come up again and again from different people. It's very consistent. And it's always matching with Bhagavad Gita, like Prabhupada purports, the Gita, he gives quotes from Vedic literature, from Upanishads that say the same thing to show that this is the same. It's not Krishna just talking whatever he wants. It's not just some, where you can just say, well, Krishna didn't mean this, he meant that. The demoniac Mayavadis say. Okay, so very good. Joy T, any comment?
So from this verse, we understand that when devotees like Prathu Maharaj, he knows, but still he's asking the question for the benefiting of another like us. So always devotees, they ask questions even though they know the answer, but still they will ask not for themselves but is a benefit for others. So that is a sign or a quality of a devotee, that he is in his mind he is thinking to do good of others. That's why he's asking the question. So is one of the quality we can see here in Prathu Maharaj.
Very good. And it's
Yes,
also
Maharaj.
for his own benefit. He likes to hear it. He likes to hear it explained again and again and from different people, a different angle of vision. But also they knew somehow or other, they had a higher understanding that this is all being recorded and it's for the benefit of others. Very good. And we should try to think like that also. If we have in a class and, there's a lot of new devotees, if we can ask pertinent questions, so we learn how to explain things more, but also then the devotees that are there that are not learned, they can hear that, because they can't even think of the right question if you don't know very much. Okay, very good. So Prithu glorified, this is proper culture. He glorified the Kumaras quite a bit. Why he should hear from them, and then they glorify him. And this is an exchange of respect and love, and this is how it should be in all relationships. And everyone is respectful to everyone else. Lord Chaitanya said, Amani Namanadena Kirtaniya Sadahari, offering all respect to others and not expecting anything in return. That's very advanced, because generally we want to be respected, but we're not so much inclined to be respectful. which is we won't be respected if we're not respectful. You get what you give. You know, when you look in the mirror, right? You get what you. What do they call it? You say it used to be for a computer WYSIWYG. What you see is what you get, something like that. So we want to. There's a very famous song came out a long time ago. I think I must have been in high school, you know, before devotee time. The title of the song is Respect. And first was sung. It was composed by one famous man. Then it was made famous by a Mataji. But he said, I work, I bring home, I give you everything. And all I want is when I get home is a little respect. I want, you know, I'm giving you all my money, I'm giving you all my life. I just want a little respect. And then when it became famous, she was singing RESPECT. Find out what it means to me. Yeah. And it became number one like very quick all over the world. Everybody wanted respect. Black people were feeling oppressed. Women were feeling oppressed. You know, all kinds of people were feeling like nobody respects me. So that song just caught on like anything. But that's what Chaitanya says, offering all respect to others, not expecting anything in return. That's the mode of goodness.
Guru Maharaj, please, I have a question, Guru Maharaj.
Yeah.
Guru Maharaj, what about if you are giving and giving, and the other person is not reciprocating, thinking he wants more, you are not giving enough. Then what are you going to do in that regard, Guru Maharaj?
Turn the other cheek. So Jesus said, right?
Okay, Guru Maharaj. Continue to give more and
Wonder
more.
if you're really giving, see, that means you're expecting something in return. So you're getting angry because the person, but you don't know, they might be appreciating what you're doing. They may not know how to show appreciation. They may be afraid to say anything because you get mad at them sometime. You know, it could be many things, but physician, heal thyself.
Yes, Guru Maharaj.
You know that one, right?
Yes, Guru Maharaj.
Before you accuse me, take a look at yourself. The poets, they know all these things, you know, but generally we want, you know, and we get frustrated. Love means, you know, that even when the person, it's impossible for them to give anything or you're still giving. Pray to Krishna, please, you know, let me be sincere. Maybe you're giving too much, you know. But if you're expecting anything in return, it's a mode of passion. And it always turns to misery. Right?
Yes, Guru
So
Maharaj.
think, what am I doing wrong? Krishna, help me. All right?
Yes, Guru Maharaj. Thank you,
Because
Guru Maharaj.
I know a lot of men, it's a common thing with the wife or the children. They're working, they're giving money only and thinking, well, I'm giving money, I'm giving money, I'm giving money. What do you want, you know? And they just want some association. They want some friendly talk, you know. Many children say, you know, my father never talked to me. He's always just working, and he gives me a new BMW, and you know, he sends me on holidays, but he never talks to me. He never listens to me. You have to give, and we have to take. What's the verse in the fourth verse of the Upadeshamrita?
Oh, the Dati Pratigrinati, Guru Maharaj, that is test 4.
Yeah. What does it mean?
Where that we should give gift and we should accept gift from devotee We should
Right.
reveal our mind and inquire confidentially also.
Yeah,
And
And-
we should honor Prasadam and give Prasadam.
right. We should distribute percent.
Yes,
Okay.
Guru Maharaj.
Very important. That's not only for devotees, it's basic principles of relationship. We have to accept charity because other people want to give it. If we won't accept it, then they'll be unhappy. They won't be able to do their service and giving. But then we have to think, how can I reciprocate? Okay,
Yes, Guru Maharaj.
thank you.
Thank you.
We got
Thank you, Guru Maharaj.
next verse is 19.
Yes, Guru Maharaj. 19. I want to read. Madhava Prabhu, you want to read again?
Yes.
Oh, Kamalash Prabhu, please go ahead.
When there is a congregation or devotees, their discussions, questions, and answers become conclusive to both the speaker and the audience. Thus, such a meeting is beneficial for everyone's real happiness. Purport, Srila Prabhupada. Hearing discussions among the devotees is the only means to receive the powerful message of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. For instance, Bhagavad Gita has been well known all over the world for a very long time, especially in the Western world. But because the subject matter was not discussed by devotees, there was no effect. Not a single person in the West became Krishna conscious before the Krishna consciousness movement was founded. But when the same Bhagavad Gita was presented as it is through the disciplines of session, the effect of spiritual realization was immediately manifested.
Okay, comment, just quick. I have a quick comment. As it is, it's mentioned here that Prabhupada named the Bhagavad Gita as it is. And the proof is that Krishna says, become my devotee. But all these other Bhagavad Gitas, nobody's becoming a devotee. But Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita, thousands, millions of people are becoming devotees just by reading it. So it's the real Bhagavad Gita. That's the proof. And becoming devotees, they're offering respect, they're thinking of Krishna. All the things that Krishna says to do is happening from reading the Prabhupada's purport, which don't change anything, they just stretch it out for it. Okay. As it is.
Sanat Kumara, one of the Kumaras, informed Prithu Maharaj that his meeting with the Kumaras benefited not only Maharaj Prithu, but the Kumaras as well. When Narada Muni questioned Lord Rama about the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Rama thanked Narada Muni for giving him a chance to speak about the Supreme Lord. Therefore, questions put by a Sunday person to another Sunday person about the Supreme Personality of Godhead or about the ultimate goal of life surcharge everything spiritually. Whoever takes advantage of such discussions is benefited both in this life and in the next. The word Ubayesham can be described in many ways. Generally, there are two classes of men, the materialists and the transcendentalists. By hearing discussions between the devotees, both the materialists and the transcendentalists are benefited. The materialist is benefited by association with devotees, because his life then becomes regulated so that his chance of becoming a devotee or making the present life successful for understanding the real position of the living entity is increased. When one takes advantage of this opportunity, he is assured of a human form of life in the next birth, or he may be liberated completely and go back home, back to Godhead. The conclusion is that if one participates in a discussion of devotees, he is both materially and spiritually benefited. The speaker and the audience are both benefited, and the karmis and jnanis are benefited. The discussion of spiritual matters among devotees is beneficial for everyone, without exception. Consequently, the Kumaras admitted that not only was the king benefited by such a meeting, but the Kumaras were as well. Hare Krishna.
Okay. And he talked, it's very simple, straightforward. Comment?
Yes. So here, Prabhupada explains the mutual flow that exists when the devotees meet, how the meeting is both beneficial. The speaker benefits, and then the audience also benefits with the subject matter of Krishna consciousness. Hare Krishna.
Yeah. So we should be very thankful to have the association of devotees. If someone is speaking about Krishna, we should be very happy. Somebody asks us to talk about Krishna, we should also be very thankful to them. Okay, thank you all very much for attending this class and wanting to hear Bhagavatam. Sudurlabham, such a great soul is very rare. Samahatma Sudurlabham. Such a great soul is very rare who's realized, that the real pursuit of life is to go after Krishna. Okay, text 20.
Sanat Kumara continued, my dear king, you already have an inclination to glorify the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Such attachment is very difficult to achieve, but when one has attained such unflinching faith in the Lord, it automatically cleanses lusty desires from the core of the heart. Satam prasanga mama via sanvido bhavanti ritkana rasayana kata tajoshana daswapavaga vatmani shararati bhakti anuka misyati. By association with devotees, dirty things within the heart of a materialistic man are gradually washed away by the grace of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. As silver becomes shiny by being polished, the heart of a materialistic person is cleansed of lusty desires by the good association of devotees. Actually, the living being has no connection with this material enjoyment, nor with lusty desires. He is simply imagining or dreaming while asleep. But by the association of pure devotees, he is awakened, and immediately the spirit soul is situated in his own glory by understanding his constitutional position as the eternal servant of the Lord. Prithu Maharaj was already a self-realized soul. Therefore, he had a natural inclination to glorify the activities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And the Kumaras assured him that there was no chance of his falling victim to the illusory energy of the Supreme Lord. In other words, the process of hearing and chanting about the glories of the Lord is the only means to clarify the heart of material contamination. By the process of karma, jnana, and yoga, no one would succeed in driving away contamination from the heart. But when the person takes to the shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord by devotional service, automatically all dirty things in the heart are removed without difficulty. Hare Krishna.
Yeah.
So once again, the importance of association is stressed, and also the Prabhupada explains that the heart is always covered by so many dirty things. The heart of a materialistic, person can be washed away by the grace of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And then also the importance of uh, applying devotional principles. The principle of devotional service is also hereby highlighted. That as soon as one applies the principles of devotional service, automatically the contaminations of the heart and all the dirty things of the heart can be removed without difficulty. Hare Krishna.
Okay,
Yes, Guru Maharaj.
that's very good and very clear, simple. Kumaras are very straight to the point. Okay, so
Guru Maharaj,
next,
it seems that the Sanat Kumara is the most senior among all the Kumaras, Guru Maharaj, because is the one speaking first.
yeah, he's the senior,
Guru Maharaj.
but they all speak at different times, but in this case, he's the spokesman. In the beginning, someone asked, because it mentioned that Sanat Kumar would be coming, and they asked, well, didn't the rest of the Kumaris come? But now we see that the Kumaras definitely came, but Sanatan did all the talking in this case. They're also listening to him. All right. Two more, maybe one or two more verses. Now, tomorrow it'd be very difficult for me to sit in. I got like 3 or 4 programs all day and in between moving around. So is it okay if we cancel for tomorrow? Because I'm only here, a couple times a year, and this time only for like a week or two. I can't. But what you could do is get together. I sent out these summaries of every chapter, starting with King Venu. So you could go over those. Would be very useful. All right, even if I'm not there. Yeah. Did everybody get those summaries? I sent to Kavi and Salika because I had email.
Yeah, I put it in the group, Guru Maharaj. I already put it in the group.
That's done by chat, but you can look at them and see if you want to add more or make it better. Because hopefully, my hope is that when this class is over, everybody will give classes or some kind of seminar on the Prithu Maharaj Leela and the teachings, so that you can fix it into your mind. Everybody's in certain areas, certain temple, and you make a special program of classes just on this subject.
Guru Maharaj, at the end of your class, at the end of your presentation, Guru Maharaj, you can give assignment for each of the students to give presentation on one particular chapter. As a presentation to you, you will just see them and assess the presentation.
You can do that also.
Yes, Guru Maharaj.
But we want you to teach it. Teaching is the best way to learn and remember something. Okay? All right, so text 20 is next or 21?
21, Guru Maharaj. Madhava Prabhu, you want to read?
I can read.
Yeah, please go
ahead. 21. Translation. It has been conclusively decided in the scriptures, after due consideration, that the ultimate goal for the welfare of human society is detachment from the bodily concept of life and increased and steadfast attachment for the Supreme Lord, who is transcendental and beyond the modes of material nature. Purport. Everyone in human society is engaged for the ultimate benefit of life. But persons who are in the bodily conception cannot achieve the ultimate goal, nor can they understand what it is. The ultimate goal of life is described in Bhagavad Gita Param Diswa Nivartate, that's Bhagavad Gita 259. When one finds out the supreme goal of life, it naturally becomes detached from the bodily concept. Here in this verse, the indication is that one has to steadfastly increase the attachment for transcendence, Brahmani, as it is confirmed in the Vedanta Sutra, Atatu Brahma Jitnasa, verse 111. Without inquiry about the supreme or the transcendence, one cannot give up attachment for this material world. By the evolutionary process in 8,400,000 species of life, one cannot understand the ultimate goal of life because in all those species of life, the bodily conception is very prominent. Atato Brahman Jnana means that in order to get out of bodily conception, one has to increase the attachment or inquiry about Brahman. Then it can be situated in the transcendental devotional service, Sravanam Kirtanam Vishnu. To increase the attachment for Brahman means to engage in devotional service. Those who are attached to the impersonal form of Brahman cannot remain attached very long. Impersonalists, after rejecting this world as Mritya or false, Jagamitya, come down again to this Jagamitya, although they take science to increase their attachment for Brahman. Similarly, many yogis who are attached to the localized aspect of Brahma as Paramatma, great sages like Vivat Mitra, also fall down as victims of women. Therefore, increased attachment for the Supreme Personality of Godhead is attached in all sastras. That is the only way of detachment from the material existence, and is explained in Bhagavad Gita as Parantiswa Nivartate, Bhagavad Gita 259. One can cease material activities when he actually has the taste for devotional service. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also recommended love of God as the ultimate goal of life. Prema Pumatu Mahan. Without increasing love of Godhead, one cannot achieve the perfectional state or the transcendental position. Hare Krishna.
Okay, we got a couple minutes to say something.
Yeah, Manuel Papa, you want to say something?
Okay. The emphasis is on the fact that one should detach himself from bodily conception of life. And that's the only process one can attain liberation, and that one should increase his attachment for the Supreme Lord. So the example of the yogis and the personalists will explain that their position is not permanent because even the personalists who are attached to the localized aspect of Brahman as Paramatma and make example of sages like Vishwamitra also fall down as victim of women. So it is advised that we should increase our attachment to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and the process of hearing and chanting and discussing about the Supreme Personality of Godhead is very, very important. So this is the main process of devotional service. So increasing the love of Godhead is so much emphasized. That's the only one that can bring us that perfection, and we will never fall down again. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Okay, so thank you all very much. I'll see you next week.
Tomorrow, Guru Maharaj. Oh, tomorrow you will not be available?
Tomorrow I said no. I have
Okay, good Maharaj.
so many classes all day, 3 different,
Okay, good Maharaj.
and all running around. Okay?
Yeah,
Yes,
Maharaj, I have
Maharaj.
a
So,
question.
Yeah.
Time is coming.
Yeah, somebody wants the Back to Godhead magazine. I don't know if it's still you're still producing it.
Yeah, it's available by post. There's
Oh.
Indian version, which is quite cheap, but I like very much. The content I like very much. There's the American English version, which comes every 2 months, which is very high class, glossy, and very good. I like the Indian one better. It's more like day to day, dealing with the day to day affairs of the world. But they're both available by, by subscription and transferring a little money. I'll send it to you.
Thank you so
In fact, it
Thank
would
you so
probably
much,
be a good
Maharaj.
idea for when somebody goes to India, they should bring back a box of the Indian. Because there's you get a few hundred, and you can distribute them to people that are interested. All right.
yes, good Maharaj.
Thank you so much, Maharaj.
Yeah, thank you very much. Back
Hare
to
Krishna,
good
good
head.
Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, so next Kavicandra Swami
I
Maharaj.
usually send it when I get
Yeah.
the online version. I usually send it to leaders in Africa, and you can spread it out as much as you want, also. Okay.
Okay,
Hare
Maharaj.
Krishna.
Hare
Thank you
Krishna,
very
Maharaj.
much. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.
Jai.
Ritu Maharaj ki jai. Sanat Kumar ki
Jai.
jai. Or
Jai.
Kumars ki jai. Chatuk Sanat Kumar ki jai. Hare
Jai.
Krishna.
Swami Maharaj ki jai.
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 Maharaj had disappear. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Prabhuji. Yes, G. Kamalas,
Hare
please
Krishna.
help us reach out to Yadunath, please.
Okay.
He didn't pick calls and he didn't come to class, so please encourage him, please. Hare
Okay.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
All glories. Assemble of the
Yeah.
devotees.
And
Hare
Salika
Krishna.
Prabhu also said that said that he was going somewhere, that he was going to be in class for only like 15 minutes or so. So that was why I think he left. He came and left. Okay, thank you very much, Prabhu, for your sacrifice and for your consistency. Keep it up. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Yeah.
Krishna.
See you next week. And thank you very much, Kavicandra Prabhu, for moderating and for activating the platforms on time. Hare Krishna.
All glories to
Hare
you.
Krishna.
Bhakti
Glory.
Vedanta, Nitaya Prema.
Forgive me all my
Prabhu.
offenses. Thank you.